the release of the incredible live-action Moana, I got a little nostalgic and went back to watch the first movie featuring the Princess of Motunui. And I just found a ton of details, Easter eggs, and hidden secrets that I hadn't noticed the first time I watched the animated film. You probably know, just like everyone else, that Mickey makes an appearance in every Disney movie. However, I thought Moana was going to be an exception. After all, I've watched Maui's movie multiple times and never spotted this hidden Easter egg. But the last time I watched the movie, when Moana is with Maui in the realm of monsters, specifically when they're already inside the cave of Tamatoa, that evil crab, I was finally able to see the Mickey symbol for the first time, as if it had been right in front of me the whole time. In the scene where Moana is playing the drums, if you look closely at the little corner, you'll notice there are 3 pearls arranged in a way that forms the exact Mickey symbol. But that's not all. The truth is that the first Moana movie is practically a basket stuffed with Easter eggs from other Disney films. Right after that, following the same scene, when Maui makes his triumphant entrance and is standing on top of the pile of treasure on Tamatoa's back, if you zoom in on the right spot of golden items, you'll find nothing less than the genie's magic lamp itself, which is the center of the plot in the first Aladdin movie. Which definitely reinforces the theory that, in some weird way, all Disney and Pixar movies are interconnected and are part of the same universe. Maybe it's just another lamp with another genie brother to the one we know from the Aladdin franchise. Brace yourself, because our list of details and Moana Easter eggs is just getting started. Now, we are going to blow your mind. Since we're on the topic of Aladdin's lamp, while watching the movie, I ended up noticing that another character from the Blue Genie's film ends up making a very well-disguised appearance in the adventure feature of the Motunui Princess. We're talking about the magic carpet, the adventure buddy of Al, which is what the genie calls Aladdin. We can spot its presence during the song How Far I'll Go, which is sung by Moana herself. Except, unlike the adventures in the Agrabah Desert, in Moana, it is treated like a simple rug. But it's undeniable that it's the exact same carpet, meaning it was an intentional Easter egg placed by the production team. After seeing all these Aladdin Easter eggs in the Moana movie, you might be asking yourself, why are there so many references to the movie about the street rat who becomes the boyfriend of the Sultan's daughter? The answer is actually pretty simple. The directors of Aladdin are the exact same directors of Moana. We're talking about the legendary Ron Clements and John Musker, who were responsible for bringing 7 major Disney movies to life. Among them, besides Moana and Aladdin, are The Little Mermaid, Hercules, and The Princess and the Frog. That is exactly why the directors themselves end up making an appearance in Moana as well, just in a very subtle and disguised way, exactly how a good Easter egg should be. This happens in the scene where we see some people from Moana's tribe holding up another woven mat that has an image of a tall man next to a shorter, chubbier man, who are exactly John and Ron. And it really seems like the Moana animators' favorite way to hide things is by spreading characters from other movies across the tapestry pieces of the Motunui.
Except one of those pieces is a little different, since it appears in the end credits. If you stuck around for a few moments after the Moana movie ended, you definitely must have noticed a woven mat showing up with none other than Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph. This probably happened because it was a way to promote the second movie of Vanellope's best friend, which was going to be released 2 years later. If you've watched Moana, you'll definitely remember all the scenes where the character was still a very little girl. And in one of them, we see her and several other kids listening to Grandma Tala tell the story of their ancestors. And right after, to make the kids, who were already scared, even more terrified, Moana's dad, who is the chief of Motunui, accidentally shows several tapestries with various villains painted on them. And if you look in the background, you'll see there's a guy with long hair holding a fishhook and looking pretty grumpy. So that is officially the first appearance of our Maui in the story of the 2016 film. And if you rewind just a little bit and look at the first tapestry piece that Moana's dad accidentally shows the kids, you might stop and think, I think I've seen this monster somewhere before. I can tell you that if you thought that, just like we did, you weren't wrong. That's because this scary little guy full of pointy things on his back is none other than Marshmallow himself, that ice monster created by Elsa from Frozen to protect her icy crystal castle.
Now seriously, after all these details and Easter eggs, I think we deserve your subscription.
As we mentioned, Ron and John, the directors of Moana, were also the ones responsible for making The Little Mermaid. And of course, there had to be Easter eggs from this other massive hit by the duo. For example, in the song You're Welcome, sung by Maui, if you pause at the exact right moment in the scene where several fish drawn in the Motunui style are swimming upwards, you'll see that one of them has slightly rounder features, completely different from all the others. And the reason for this is very simple. It's because that's not just any fish, it's Flounder, the fish who happens to be Ariel's best friend, the protagonist of the animated movie. But there's more. In the post-credits scene of the movie, we end up going back to Tamatoa's cave, and we see that he's still there, stranded on his back, unable to get up. And at a certain point in the scene, he starts talking to us, the audience on the other side of the screen, and says the following line.
If my name was Sebastian and I had a cool Jamaican accent, you'd totally help me. You would, you know you would.
This Sebastian that Tamatoa is referring to is the exact same Sebastian who is the conductor of King Triton's orchestra and, at the same time, Princess Ariel's trusty sidekick. I could be wrong, but I sensed a tiny hint of jealousy in Tamatoa's voice when he mentioned Sebastian in this Easter egg. Another Disney movie that also gets a nod in Moana is the 2010 movie Tangled. But this reference is very, very subtle, and because of that, it makes sense that a lot of people never noticed it. Here's the deal. When Moana returns to her island, life starts to bloom again since Te Kā was untransformed and turned back into Te Fiti. The very first thing we see blooming is a beautiful flower with mixed cream and purple petals. Yep, that is the exact same magical sundrop flower that had the ability to heal any sickness or injury, or to keep someone young for a really long time, just like the villain Mother Gothel does.
Remember how we mentioned a little bit ago that there was a reference to one of the characters from Frozen, the ice monster named Marshmallow? Well, that wasn't the only reference to characters from Elsa's movie. That's because if we go back to the scene where Maui manages to get his fishhook back from Tamatoa's treasure, he activates his transformation mode. But since he's a little out of practice and glitching, we see him shapeshift into several different things, and one of them really catches the eye. Because he turns into none other than Sven, the reindeer who is the best friend of Kristoff, Queen Anna's future husband. But we still have another character from Frozen who shows up in a subliminal, and I'd even say melancholy way. Hang on, we're about to explain. Do you remember Olaf, the super funny snowman who is one of the protagonists of Frozen? So, if you watch the movie about the princess sisters of Arendelle, you'll remember that the snowman had a completely insane dream of sunbathing on a beach. And by all indications, that dream came true. More than that, the beach Olaf went to was probably on the island of Motunui. The proof is in the carrot and the twigs that used to make up Olaf's body, but which were now tucked away in the storage of Moana's boat. Sure, it could just be a simple Easter egg, but thinking about it this way makes it much more dramatic, wouldn't you agree? Another character from one of my absolute favorite Disney movies who ends up making a cameo in Moana is Baymax from Big Hero 6. You might be asking yourself, wait, how does an ultra-technological robot show up in a movie set in a time when people navigated on sailboats? Actually, it isn't the real Baymax who appears in Moana, but rather one of his fans. That's because we can see that one of the Kakamora, that group of pirate pygmies who wear coconuts as armor, painted the exact face of Baymax on his coconut. The lingering question is the Wi-Fi on the Kakamora ship really that good that they can stream Disney+? And to wrap up our list, we have to mention one of the cutest references of all. Do you remember that really cool scene where Moana, when she was still a little baby girl, protected a tiny sea turtle from a flock of hungry birds and helped him reach the ocean? So, what if I told you that this good deed from the Motunui princess was responsible for helping Dory, that fish with memory issues from Finding Dory, finally managed to find the place she was born? Would you believe it? So, the fact is that the turtle saved by baby Moana is simply identical to the son of Crush, the sea turtle who helps Dory in her solo movie. For that reason, it wouldn't be absurd at all to imagine that the little turtle from the past that the princess saved is a direct ancestor of Crush. And, in all likelihood, they share the same bloodline. You get me? When I found this out, my mind completely exploded.
We'll wrap up here, but if you also love everything involving pop culture, check out these 2 video options we're leaving for you on your screen. You can watch either of the 2. You're sure to love them.